Hi, guys. Welcome back.
Hi.
So I'm super excited to introduce our next guest. We have actress and sometimes dancer, Chloe Van Landschoot.
Yes.
Sometimes dancer.
Hi, Chloe. Thanks for joining
Hi.
us. How are you doing? Where are you at? What's the tea?
I'm good. I'm in Hamilton at my parents' house drinking my dad's beer. That's for
Lovely. We love that.
Yeah.
That makes it
They're
taste
like
so much better.
upstairs. Like, I'm like, it's time to be quiet now. I'm doing the interview. And they're like,
I know that life.
yeah.
I love that. I love when you can like drink your parents' stuff. Like it makes me, even as an adult, it makes me feel so
much
happy.
better.
It's just like, wow. And then they tell you, here's a whole cabinet, and you're like,
Great.
wow.
Well, it's
Yeah.
best because you don't have to pay for it.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It just tastes so much better.
Right.
But there's something about being back home too, where like you also get reverted back to like a teenager, where they're like,
Mhm.
"Where are you going? Why are you going out so late? Why aren't you back yet? Are you gonna be home for dinner?" Like it's just adorable. It's like I'm 30, but also 13 for the next 6 weeks, and it's fine. Love it.
Right.
I mean,
It's kind of like the reverse.
Garner-
It's 30 going on 13.
Jennifer Garner enjoyed it. Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
I think it's sometimes a blessing and curse. I talk about it all the time. Like I got to the point now where I know that they're just being careful. I used to get mad at first and they're like, "Where you going? When you coming home?" And now I'm just like, "I'll see y'all later." Like y'all
just want to make sure
y'all gonna talk until I get in the car. Then I'm in the car driving. They call, "What you doing?" Well, I can't tell you what I'm doing because you really don't want to know. But I'm out there.
Just know I'm safe. Quotation.
Yeah,
I'm doing the best I can.
We're playing it safe.
Kind of though.
It reminds me of those memes that I saw. It was like my parents praying for me and like hoping for the best and for my safety, and then it's like me like just out at
A rave.
at a rave, just like.
Jesus.
But that would
That was
also be my dad. Like my dad would be at the rave doing that too. Like he's such a little loon. Yeah. So it's hard. It's actually hard for them to be quiet because they're just like, "Can we come dance too?" They're so
That's so cute.
They're the cool parents.
They're cute. They're
cool
cute.
mom.
Very cute.
So, Chloe, were you born and raised in Hamilton?
No, I grew up in a small town called Grimsby, Ontario,
Okay.
which is like an hour outside of Toronto. Have you been to Toronto? Yes. Where
I
are
have,
you
yes.
located? Are you all in New York?
New York.
Mhm.
Braden and I went to Toronto a few years ago, and we were very upset about y'all's alcohol laws, but that's
I'm
okay.
not sure. I've been a couple times. I'm just not sure if I'm gonna ever go back.
I'm gonna go back soon. Actually, I'm going back soon. I have to because of work stuff.
It's
I'm
a
going
nice
back.
time. It's a super queer friendly city, which is
Oh, no,
great.
So
for sure.
nice.
But, like we're talking about
And-
alcoholism.
Alcoholism.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
that
It
could be an
doesn't really-
issue.
it doesn't really support people like us on part of the podcast.
No, not today. Thank you so much. Yeah, I grew up there, small town, like 20,000 people. Went to like the local high school, one of two of them. I went to the Catholic one because my mom was like, "Well, why not?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know who I am yet, so sure, sounds good." Did that, and then I went to nursing school. So I was like, that feels correct too. So I did that in another city in Ontario. And then, yeah, I just kind of kept up like being my little arty farty self, like would find myself in student films and doing fashion shows and stuff like that, and some behind the scenes stuff, but was like pretty focused on becoming a nurse at the time. And, but always, yeah, needed a creative outlet, creative space. I never saw it as like a career for me, I guess. It just, again, like small town kind of energy, like that's not something that's like super supported in a way, or nurtured or yeah, to turn into that. It's kind of a one track system. Go to university and do your thing. But yeah, I was lucky to be at a university that kind of really supported that. And there's so many avenues to enter in terms of how you wanted to express yourself. Well, yeah, also getting your nursing degree. And then, yeah, I started becoming a nurse. I started my career off at Emerge. What a nightmare of a place to start your career. I was terrible, petrified, everything so bad. I was like, what am I doing? But just kept going because I was also so fascinated because when you work there, you see like such a spectrum of humanity in like a 12-hour shift. And I was just like, you just see things that no one else can. And you're just like, I found myself like starting to dissociate, and like everything would become, they'd all become films in my head. Like, and I was like, oh, this is also a canvas, this world. And that's kind of what I think that was my trauma response in a way to navigating insanity was, well, let's just make something out of this to keep me going, because it's all of that energy is going to be put into something one day. And at least that's what's happening to me right now. So I started to see my hospital life as this two-way street between who I was as a creator and who I was as an actor. And they were constantly feeding each other, which I thought was really interesting. Because if you want to be playing human beings in real life, you see, like I said, a spectrum of what that looks like really, really deeply. So yeah, I owe everything of who I am as an artist to that line of work for sure. A big part of the things I make and how I create something stem from my experiences nursing. And
well,
right,
Chloe.
Go ahead. No, I
but
think we're on the same path.
I think we just connected across the table. I mean, it did actually kind of connect because you play Christy, who's the town doctor and you know, you went to medical school, and it all kind of tied up together. That's really, it's crazy how that happened.
It was kind of insane because at the time, I was like full pandemic nursing mode. Like I had left the building into something else. My girlfriend at the time, poor thing, like just like didn't know what to do with me, and rightfully so. And I mean, I think that was a very common thread for a lot of partners of healthcare workers. Like it's just, when you're navigating, you just like don't have words for it yet because you're just in survival mode. So anyway, this audition came for From. I looked at it, series regular, American show, shooting in Canada. I was like, I've been through this before. They just gonna audition Canadians and they're not gonna hire any of us. Plus, I'm busy. Like, but yeah, of course.
Don't have time for this, but whatever.
No, but it was all a total gift because like my exhaustion, my desire to not need it or want it, I was just too far gone elsewhere, was exactly her. So I auditioned for it, and I think I had like a string of night shifts after and thought nothing of it. And then my agent was like, you have a network test. And I was like, what? What's that? I didn't even know what that was. I was just like, okay, yeah, sounds good. And then I think I'd come off a night shift, and then I was just like, well, time to do it, and hopped on a Zoom with everyone, and it just felt really natural. I was terrified, but it still felt natural. But I think that's because I was terrified for like 2 years. So it's just like, this familiar feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then to get something like this, and then be plucked from that world into a new world was exactly what my character was navigating. Chrissy, like she's plucked into this hellhole. I was coming from one hellhole to another. And what was really incredible was at the time I was also just like super heartbroken because my girlfriend and I had broken up at the time, and I was just like raw and tender, and it was all just a mess. And we had a meeting kind of with the director beforehand, and I was like, listen, I'm queer and heartbroken right now, and y'all have her married to a man, and she queer, she has a lady at home.
She gay.
Okay?
Right.
She's got a lady at home, and then they're like, we love that, and they changed her whole kind of internal world, which was amazing.
Wow,
that's so cool.
Yeah, which is so, I was just like, wow, it's amazing what happens when you're just super honest and coming from where you're at, and you're just real about it. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
and it's awesome that they were receptive enough, open to like do that.
Yeah, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't sure how it was going to be received at all. I'm like, they could have just been like, who the hell does this girl think she is? Just like coming in her show and like changing everything.
But I appreciate that, and I think your guts to do that. You know, I know famously that happened with Elliot Page on Umbrella Academy. He went there and was like, "Listen, this is my life where I am now. Are we able to amend this character?" And they did that, and I think that really speaks to the creatives that you're working with, but it also speaks to the type of person you are to be like, I really want to feel authentic in this moment. I really want this to really represent some part of myself, because as actors, everyone plays some part of themselves within the character. It's always some part of you there, because you want to give that kind of wink to who you are as a person. So I'm really, really proud of you for being able to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I felt like I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't lead with that. So again, I'm hired to do a certain job. Not everything will be receptive, but I'd feel really crummy if I didn't come to them with that. So I'm glad I did, and bonus that it was super received, and felt totally empowering. And
I was just gonna say, I was listening to a podcast the other day about Coco Peru, famous LA drag queen. She was doing a gig where she had to be a dead body in a body bag, whatever. And I guess the dialogue with other actors referred to her and that she was going to be straight or something, and she was like, no, that's not going to work. And so told them, no, you're going to make me gay. It's the only thing that makes sense. And so they were like, okay, well, because they were shooting here in New York, so they had to wait till LA woke up and talk to the writers, and we're like, is this okay if we do this? And blah blah blah. And they sat and waited.
In my experience,
and I'm like,
writers,
okay, bitch.
I feel like that's how it should be. I mean, we really need to push for as much diversity and inclusion as possible. And I mean, luckily, like, people are opening up their ears now, you know, and they're like not being so closed off. And it's like, yeah, we should. Like, why not?
Writers are very, in my experience, they're very happy to change and edit something as long as you ask and give reason, as opposed to just doing it yourself. I think there was a time period, and there still is, where certain actors or performers just change whatever they want without consulting the writers or producers and stuff, because that happens a lot on network television, soap operas. It happens a lot, sometimes in primetime procedurals. Once you're a character playing, and once you're an actor playing a character for so long, you're like, I'm just going to keep changing it. But writers do really like for you to come, because it's their job. You know, they like for you to come and say, hey, what you think? And
it is, I think, like, the heartbeat of a successful show too lies in that collaboration between the actors and the writer. If you have really resistant actors who are just doing their own thing, you're not creating like trust between you and the writers, and you're just everyone's just gonna have walls up, and you're gonna have a show. I think it's important to have that collaboration and understand that, like, you are colleagues working together on the same thing. It's not the writers versus the actors. It's like, how do we best serve this story that we're all trying to tell?
Right.
Amen.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes though. Our egos, like, can totally get in the way and whatnot. Like, 100. I had like a bit of a thing about it. And in reflection post season, I know what happened, but my character gets her, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but Christy gets her hair cut, which we love. And I had placed so much emphasis on this haircut for her, because it was like reminiscent. For me, it was like Christy revisiting her queer identity that she's let go of for the entire time we've known her, because she's just so focused in another world, similar to how I was feeling when I was nursing, and just let go of so much of who she was. So getting her haircut was like revisiting her queer self. Externally for everyone. And I know for me, like, when hair was a big thing for me when I came out. The queer haircut's always
right.
Once
you get a haircut, you restore your superpowers.
Exactly.
Yes,
haircuts are very powerful.
They really are. And I think I attached so much meaning to it, because it was meaningful for me too, and I had put so much of myself into this person that I took offense when they had a different idea of what they wanted the haircut to be. And I think when you're shooting too, you're just in like this really sensitive space of everything affects you. And I had such a different idea for what this haircut was because I wanted it to be Christy's queer haircut that she got when she was like 18, where everything made sense. But they had a different idea, and it wasn't super off from what I wanted, but there was just, my ego was getting totally in the way because I took it personally. And I was like, now that I'm off the show, reflecting on it, I was like, oh, they have a vision for her too. Just like I have a vision for her. And sometimes we're going to agree and sometimes we're going to disagree. And there's just like certain things you need to let go of. But I was just like, I got really offended because I just feel like they were deciding what Christy's queer haircut was. And I was just like, Chloe, it's not about that. Just let it go. So it was like a good lesson though. But I was just like, you are responsible for your character. You're their biggest advocate. But sometimes you also have to, we're so focused on the micro as actors, but the producers, the showrunners, the directors, they have this macro view of everything that's going on. So, of course, like, just relax.
Yeah. It's that old adage of choose your battles that you have to do sometimes when you go on set. But again, good for you for standing up for a macro in your world that you were able to have that. Yeah. Yeah. It's like to have that big moment to come in for that character. Like that's the bigger thing. You know, you look at like the haircut part, it's like, all right, haircut, yes, that's important, but you were able to have that character be queer and be in their truth. And I think that's important.
Yeah. So that's the stuff that matters more anyway.
Yeah.
Than the haircut. But yeah, it was an interesting kind of learning thing for me as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I would have been brave enough. I'm always a chicken shit about stuff like that. Like, I know I don't want to rock the boat and I don't want to cause waves, you know. So, so kudos.
Yeah, and I'm usually like that when I'm like not in shoot mode, but there's just like something happens where you're just like you're obsessed with this person's world. So everything else, you're not living reality really. You're living in some other magical place where rules are different. They feel different.
Right.
Like the parts of your brain that are worried about that stuff go out the window because you just care too much about other stuff, I guess. I don't know. But
yeah, I
mean, you've been acting, and obviously we all love From. So what is next for you? Like, are you gonna sometimes dance again? Or like, are you what's your next acting gig? What's next, girl?
Yeah, I have a short film that I made that's floating around right now. Yeah. Idol.
I'm super excited.
Have you seen it?
No, I'm super excited to see it because what I was gonna actually give you to the question with Braden is it's like you were finally able to produce and direct and do something yourself for yourself. And I think that was so important because like in that you get to call the shots and that you get to say what you want to do. So how was that overall experience?
Oh my God, it was amazing. It kind of opened up my world to like a whole other creative side, I guess. I never saw that as a thing that could be possible. But just mostly been focused on acting. And then I was like, oh wait, you can just make your own stuff sometimes. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes you just have to like have an idea and find people who are down to do it with you and just try it out. Like I had like 3 weeks off of shooting in season 1 and I had an idea in my head of kind of what I wanted to make. I had brought my scrubs with me from the hospital and I was just like, I think I want to process some of this stuff. And it was like mostly an experiment. I had an idea of like a dance piece where her whole internal world gets externalized through movement while she tries to get home from work. And it like flashes back to the hospital. I was like, how am I going to do this? So, a dear friend of mine who has a camera was just like, let's just shoot it. You don't need a script. Let's just go see what happens. And I was like, what? Like my philosophy of creating is like, no, you got to get the crew and you need a script. Got it.
Right.
It's like, no, just go. And I was like, oh, okay. So we did. And we just kind of shot it all on instinct. And it was really cool because I was like, oh, this is all just living in my body. I don't necessarily have to write anything down. And my co-director, Neve, is also a dancer and an actor and has really good instincts, super, super grounded. and speaks the same kind of dance language. So she was perfect to have behind the camera while I was performing. And yeah, it was just like such a cool experiment. And then we came away and we're like, oh, I think we should put this together now.
What was that
like?
like?
So we started to find what the story was in the editing room. I got an incredible editor recommended to me from a friend, and we just worked and worked and worked and worked on it. And it was really, really special to be able to, like I was saying, like have all of that coming at you, the pandemic, everything, your whole identity, and then to be able to go whoosh with it into something else, to transfer that energy and be able to call the shots and decide what that is, was super, super special and like very invigorating. And I've never felt such a natural high in my life, like in the editing room. I was like, this is a crazy feeling. So it became kind of I'm definitely chasing that feeling now too, wanting to keep creating. And basically we got an incredible composer as well, because the music and the soundscape kind of was part of the dialogue as well, because there's no words in the film. And then it all came together, and now it's floating around. Super.
That is amazing.
Wow,
Awesome.
congratulations.
Can you let everyone know, Chloe, where they can find Tidal to watch?
It's Real Women's Network. They can watch it. If they're in Canada, they can watch it on CBC Gem or Highball TV. And
That is amazing.
Awesome.
And if they're in LA, the 21st of April, it's screening at the Beverly Hills Film Fest. So
I wish we would be in LA on the 21st.
Yeah, no, for real. But I miss LA so much.
I know.
How's the weather in New York? What's it like right now? Is it cold?
Not bad. It was like 76.
Yeah, but then yesterday it was like 40 something.
I know.
It's like a roller coaster right now.
Yeah, here too. It was like snowing out this morning. Now it doesn't know what it wants. The sky's pretty though. That's nice.
That's nice.
April's weird.
So Chloe, before we let you go, we like to ask all of our guests, what does pride mean to you?
Pride means being able to be super excited and truthful living in the person that you want to be.
You heard it here first.
Very well said.
No, it is.
That's on period.
Period. Exclamation point. Emoji of your choice.
Yo, the tongue. Like,
you are literally as cool as I thought you would be, and I want you to come back to us and hang out and just be a guest co-host for the day. Talk hot topics with us.
Hot topics.
Yeah, like get into the nonsense with us and let's just talk shit for like a minute.
That's my favorite sport.
Yeah.
I love talking shit.
That's my favorite pastime.
It's my favorite.
It literally is our shit. So it just gives us so much. So Chloe, please definitely come back. Let everyone know where they can follow you on social media and learn more about you.
Totally. Instagram, it's at Chloe VLS, CHLOVLS. I don't know why I had to spell it out with my finger, but
we were actually just talking. We were talking about that in the first segment about spelling things out, and because we did new musical Shucked, and we were talking about how they spell out woman, and then Usher spell out his name.
No,
so
it's because we live in the era of Chat GBT, and it just does it for us. Like we don't need to spell anymore.
I don't need to spell or write in cursive.
Right. Sometimes I need to spell out restaurant because I forget. No.
Okay.
Or the one I had trouble with today was narrative. I was like narrative.
Yeah. Sometimes your mind be like, I don't know what's going on.
I have a whole repertoire of words I can't spell because I unlearned how to do it.
Right.
You're like, I don't need that information.
Like definitely, I can't. I'll never be.
That one I always have trouble with. It always has to be autocorrect.
Definitely. Do you say definitely? Yeah, me too. Yeah. That one constantly.
No, that's easy. It's just define to lead. Okay.
Right.
But then sometimes autocorrects to defiantly, and then you're like,
well, that's the own issues with the Illuminati and Alexa and stuff.
What?
Yeah. Defiant.
Y'all don't believe in the Illuminati? I feel like we have this conversation every episode.
We
I
do.
believe in the Illuminati. I just
I believe
just-
there's something
Let's
out
circle
there.
back to the Illuminati.
right.
They're listening to us. Anyway, sorry.
Let's talk shit about the Illuminati.
No, you
Right.
can't.
Let's
Because you'll be the
talk-
next one sacrificed.
We should definitely talk mad shit about that because that would be really fun.
Y'all are out of control.
Out of it. Honestly, Chloe and Braden need to meet because now here they are. They're like, girl, let's have an off chat.
Let's have it off, jealous.
Guys, definitely go check out the first season of From. It is airing on Epix. Get ready for the second season that's going to be on MGM Plus. Go ahead, Chloe.
You got it. No, you got it. You
Oh
got
yeah,
it.
it's gonna be on MG. Girl, it's almost like I've been doing it. I don't know how, but you know, the
You know more
second
than I
season
do.
the second season will be on MGM Plus, which is a new rebranded home for Epix. You can check it out starting April 23rd. It is going to be delicious, and I know it's going to be great stories coming. So we are very excited and can't wait to continue to support you, Chloe.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Chloe.
Can't wait for you to come back for real. Like,
Yeah,
for real.
let's do it. Let's talk shit. Okay.
Let's talk.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chloe.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.